Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. Let's get right back into Pathfinder and do another build. This time, I want to talk about the next playthrough we're going to do. I've already stated that it's going to be the Demon Mythic Path, but I decided I want to try different things than I've done in my past playthroughs all the way around. So this time we're going to pick a character who focuses strictly on crowd control, whereas the other two characters I've played have been all about damage. We're going to do turn-based combat this time, because I know a lot of you have been asking about that. And we're going to use party members that I've never used as regular party members before. So we're going to have Lan, Woljif, Darren, Greyboar, and Regil. And we'll see how it's going to work. So let's dive into this build. Going to be a Sorcerer, Nine-Tailed Heir, which of course means we're going to be a Kitsune, and we are going to be a woman this time. We'll pick the Kitsune background heritage and Pickpocket for our background, so we got a +2 bonus on initiative rolls. Gonna max out Charisma, get a couple extra points in Constitution, dump Strength all the way, and get 18 points of Dexterity. Specialize in Use Magic Device and Persuasion. First feat, Spell Focus Enchantment, then the Sorcerer bonus feat, Greater Spell Focus Enchantment, like the Arcane Bloodline, Arcane Bond. You can pick whatever you like here. Lord Religion is what I'm going with. For my first couple of level 1 spells, I'll go Hypnotism and Sleep. For role-playing purposes, I'll pick Lamashtu as the deity and Chaotic Evil. Nice freaky looking face. Switch it over to woman and we'll go with Cunning. And then for our level 3 feat, we'll scroll down and get Improved Initiative. At level 4, I increase Charisma, and I'd recommend you continue to do that through all the level ups. For your level 2 spell, I will go ahead and get Hideous Laughter. For your level 5 feat, I'd go ahead and get Spell Focus Evocation. And then for your second level 2 spell, I'd get Burning Arc. For your first level 3 spell, I'd get Deep Slumber. And then for your level 7 feat, I'd scroll down to Greater Spell Focus, get Evocation. And then for your Bloodline feat, I'd go ahead and get Spell Penetration. And for your next level 3 spell, I'd get Heroism. For your first level 4 spell, I'd get Confusion. For your level 9 feat, I'd go ahead and get Meta Magic Reach. And for your level 9 additional spell, I'd get Dragon's Breath. For your third level 3 power, I'd get Hold Person. For your second level 4 spell, I'd get Overwhelming Grief. For your first level 5 spell, I'd get Mind Fog. For your level 11 feat, I'd go ahead and get Greater Spell Penetration. For your second level 5 spell, I'd get Feeble Mind. For your first level 6 spell, I'd get Serenity. For your first level 6 spell, I get Heroism Greater. For your level 13 feat, I get Spell Specialization, Chain Lightning. For your Bloodline feat, I get Iron Will. For your additional spell at level 13, I get Chain Lightning. For your third level 6 spell, I get Serenity. For your first level 7 spell, I get Hold Person, Mass. At level 15, I'd get Combat Casting. And then for your school power, I'd get Enchantment. For your second level 7 spell, I'd get Insanity. For your first level 8 spell, I go ahead and take Storm Bolts. And for your level 17 extra spell, I will go ahead and pick up Euphoric Tranquility. And then for your second level 8 spell, I'd get Power Word Stun. Honestly, I'm not sure why there's a thumbs down here. It seems like this enchantment spell is similar to some of the other ones we selected, and those don't have thumbs down. I don't see functionally why it wouldn't work for the Nine-Tailed Heir, but again, it has its thumbs down. I assume there's a reason, or it could be a bug. So it might not be something that I actually figure out until I play through this entire class during the game. So now that we've done the regular level ups, let's look at the Mythic Path. So first we choose Close to the Abyss, which I'm going to be completely frank, in my opinion, pales in comparison to Close to the Heavens. But it's what we got, so we're going to run with it. Abundant Casting. And then for our second Mythic level, gonna go right back into Mythic abilities, Improved Abundant Casting. Then at the third level, you choose your Mythic path, so we'll go with Demon. And then favorite Meta Magic, Reach. Choose whatever spells you like here, doesn't matter. For our fourth Mythic level, we're gonna go right back to our Mythic abilities and choose Greater Abundant Casting. And then we get to start choosing aspects, so we'll start with a aspect of Succubus. And then for the fifth Mythic level, we'll choose Enduring Spells and get an aspect of Incubus. And then for level 6, we're going to go back into Mythic abilities again and choose Greater Enduring Spells and get Aspect of Rock. All right, so now that we've went through all of the levels and selected our Mythic Path abilities, I'll break down the special abilities and feats that we've picked up. Of course, the chapters are below, so if you already know this information, you can skip past it to the spells. Otherwise, I'll break this down one by one. Vanish. The touched creature becomes invisible for a short time. Sleep. A sleep spell causes a magical slumber to come upon 4 HD of creatures, and those who are closest to the spell's point of origin are affected first. Blur. The subject's outline appears blurred, shifting, and wavering. This distortion grants the subject concealment, 20% mischance. Invisibility. The touched creature becomes invisible. Deep Slumber. The spell functions like sleep, except it affects 10 HD of targets. Displacement. The subject of this spell appears to be about 2 feet away from its true location. The creature benefits from a 50% mischance as if it had total concealment. Confusion. This spell causes confusion in the targets, making them unable to determine their actions. And then a D100 is rolled to determine what happens based upon them being affected by this power. Dominate Person. You can make any humanoid creature fight on your side as if it was your ally. You get a couple of summons, no matter what mythic path you choose, but they're all broken except for the Azada path right now, so it doesn't work in beta. Close to the Abyss. You get a Gore attack that has a -5 penalty and deals 1d8 plus 1.5 times your strength modifier points of piercing damage. Demonic Rage. While in a demonic rage, the demon gains +2 bonus on attack rolls, damage rolls, caster level checks, and reflex checks. The DC for all saving throws against demon spells and abilities are increased by 2. Demonic Claws. The demon has claws that deal 1d8 points of slashing damage plus the demon's strength modifier. Aspect of Succubus. A demon with the aspect of Succubus gains a bonus on all persuasion, perception, and knowledge world checks, and any enemies within 30 feet of the demon have a -1 penalty to will saves and attack rolls, while allies get a +1 to both of those, and they have an immunity to compulsion and fear effects. Aspect of Incubus. The demon gains a bonus on all persuasion, athletics, and lore nature skill checks, and any spells used during Demon Rage increase its DC by 1, plus you have a +4 bonus to weapon damage rolls. Aspect of Rock. The demon gains a bonus on Knowledge Arcana, Knowledge World, and Lore Religion checks. You get a +2 bonus on ranged attack rolls, and all enemies within 30 feet of the demon gain a -1 penalty to reflex saves and move as if on difficult terrain. Arcane Object. A bonded object can be used once per day to restore any one spell that the wizard had prepared for this day. Magical Tail. At 3rd level and every 2 levels thereafter, a 9-tailed heir gains Magical Tail as a bonus feat. If the 9-tailed heir already has 9 tails, each additional time the feat is taken, the sorcerer gains 1 additional daily use of the lowest level magical tail ability not already affected by this effect. Combat Casting Adept. At 3rd level, you get a +2 bonus on concentration checks made to cast a spell or use a spell-like ability, and this increases over time. Abundant Casting. You can cast 4 more spells per day at 1st, 2nd, and 3rd levels each. Hard to Kill. You don't die until your total number of negative hit points becomes equal to or greater than double your constitution score. Demon Kind. You get a resistance to electricity of 20 and an immunity to poisons. Improved Abundant Casting. You can cast 4 more spells per day at 4th, 5th, and 6th levels each. Favorite, Meta Magic Reach. The spell level cost for the use of this meta magic decreases by 1. Greater Abundant Casting. You can cast 4 more spells per day of 7th, 8th, and 9th levels each. Enduring Spells. Effects of your spells on your allies that should last longer than an hour, but shorter than 24 hours, now last 24 hours, and greater enduring spells. Effects of your spells on your allies that should last longer than 5 minutes, but shorter than 24 hours, now last 24 hours. Magical Tail. You gain a new spell-like ability, each usable twice per day from the following list in order. And so as we level up, we continue to get those spells on top of being able to select those spells in our spell book. Spell Focus Enchantment. You add +1 to the difficulty class for all saving throws against spells from that school of magic. Greater Spell Focus adds an additional +1. Improved Initiative. You get a +4 bonus on initiative checks. So I take all these back to back to very quickly ensure that I should be at the head of the line, and whatever crowd control I lay down should work against any enemy that I'm going up against. Then we do the same thing for evocation. Take the +1 to difficulty class from spell focus and greater spell focus. Spell penetration. You get a +2 bonus on caster level checks made to overcome a creature's spell resistance. And then greater spell penetration gives you another +2. I don't really have spells in this build that take full advantage of spell penetration, but just being a mage in general, I feel like for role-playing purposes, it's something that I should have, so I went on ahead and took it. Meta Magic Reach Spell. You can alter a spell with a range of touch, close, or medium to increase its range by one range category. So we take this because a lot of the better enchantment powers are close or touch, and so this allows us to extend them a little bit without raising the level of that particular spell. And then these last three, honestly, you can switch out with whatever you see fit, but I felt like it made sense to try to make her a little bit beefier, so give her a +2 bonus on will saving throws, +4 bonus on concentration checks, and a +2 bonus on fortitude saving throws. And finally, under traits, I thought it would be good to go over Kitsune Magic. Kitsune add +1 to the DC of any saving throws against enchantment spells that they cast. For the Sorcerer Spellbook, I think most of this is self-explanatory. At level 1, you're going to be using Sleep. At level 2, Hideous Laughter is nice, and if for whatever reason you already have everything crowd control, you can use Burning Arc. At level 3, Deep Slumber is definitely a great option. I took Heroism first before Hold Person, because considering the team that I plan to run with, it would be better for Samantha to be the one to cast Heroism, so I wanted that buff available a little bit earlier. Then at level 4, Confusion is obviously fantastic, and then you can use Overwhelming Grief if there's 1 or 2 enemies that for whatever reason were able to overcome Confusion. And then if we want to switch things up with some Evocation, we have Dragon's Breath to do just that. Mind Fog is great at level 5. Feeble Mind is fantastic if you're dealing with a caster that needs to be shut down. At level 6, Heroism Greater is absolutely fantastic buff that we want to use regularly. Chain Lightning is probably one of the main ways that I'll use to damage people during the rare times that I actually need to do so. And then Serenity is nice to be able to do some damage to enemies while including some crowd control as well. Level 7, Hold Person Mass. Obviously being able to paralyze an entire room is fantastic. Then we also have Insanity to deal with anybody who for whatever reason is able to overcome the Hold Person. And then Blind is a very powerful effect against enemies that absolutely need to see in order to be effective. And then on level 8, Storm Bolts is absolutely fantastic. Not only does it do great damage, but it'll stun enemies for 1 round. Of course, I have to get a little bit closer in order for it to be useful, but it's still nice to have the option to pull it out when I need to. And then Power Word Stun if I need to shut down one particular enemy. Again, I don't know why there's a thumbs down on that, so we'll see how it works in the actual game. Okay, so now let's look at the Demon Playbook, which actually gives us a couple of things to play with. Level 1 gives us nothing important to be able to work with. So at level 2, you've got a couple of nice options. Blood Haze is great if you're someone who likes to damage a lot. So for 1 round per 2 caster levels, you gain the effects of the haste spell, and then that duration is extended every time you reduce a creature below 0 HP. We also have Consume Fear. The target gains a bonus on persuasion checks made to intimidate equal to your caster level. Every round the target is healed for 1 HP for every shaken or frightened enemy in a 30-foot radius. And when the spell is cast, every enemy in 10 feet around the target must make a will saving throw or be frightened for 1d4 rounds. This seems to fit right into what a Hell Knight would usually do, so I'm looking forward to throwing it on Regal. And then finally, if you know you're about to do a damage power and are willing to use a standard action beforehand, Flames of the Abyss. The next 2 attacks plus 1 additional attack per 5 caster levels above 7 deal additional 1d6 unholy damage per 2 caster levels. Alternatively, you can use one of the charges to make a ranged touch attack as a standard action, dealing the same amount of damage. Level 3, we've got Channel Rage, which allows you to give the demonic rage effects to 1 party member. Telekinetic Strike, you create an invisible force which damages the enemy for 1d6 damage per caster level. The target then makes a fortitude save, and if it's failed, the target becomes prone. And Profane Hymn, every enemy in 40-foot radius receives a -2 penalty on attack and damage rolls, caster level checks to overcome spell resistance, concentration checks, and all saving throws. And then finally, at level 4, we have Channel Rage Communal, which allows us to give the demonic rage to all of our party members, along with abyssal chains. The chains deal 1d8 points of bludgeoning damage per caster level to the primary target and entangle it for the number of rounds equal to caster level. Then after they strike, the chains continue their way to a number of secondary targets equal to your caster level. And the target can attempt a reflex saving throw for half damage and to ignore the entangling effect. So obviously this is another great damaging power for you. All right, and that is the build. So basically you have someone who has a ton of crowd control, can really shut enemies down, has a few powers that she can also use to damage enemies and try to clear the board. But for the most part, I want to use this character to try to set up my team to easily be able to pick apart our foes, and I think Sheila allows us to do it. But let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Is this a build that you would use? Does it make sense how I put this together? Or do you have some recommendations on how you feel like I could have done this even better? Looking forward to hearing your feedback. Please leave me a like down below if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.